Lesson 5, adding assigned numbers with a number line. Now, to start this off, you've had, for example, where you've been asked to find the sum or the answer to a -4 plus 2. And probably at some point you were taught that there are certain rules that if you're adding a negative and a positive, you got to do this, or if you have a negative plus a negative, you got to do this. And eventually we are going to go over those rules. The only problem is sometimes we forget, some of these rules. And what this lesson in lesson 5 is, the intent here is, if you do forget the rule, you can always go back and use a number line to figure out the answer, or to check your answer. Let's take a look at example 1. We're being asked to draw a number line and directed arrows to add a +3 plus 2. Now, you got to understand what the directions are asking. Okay, what I have down below is a number line. And what we're going to do is we're going to number this number line, and then we're going to use what are called directed arrows, and we'll talk about what those are. Now, before we actually finish our number line here, sometimes numbers are shown in different ways. Now, what they're attempting to do here is really, this problem is simply 3 plus 2. Don't let the parentheses confuse you. Don't let the positive signs confuse you. All they're doing is they're emphasizing that this is a +3 and this is a +2. So just realize that it's the same thing as this. Now, on my number line, I'm just going to start with 0 in the middle, and there's not one set way to make these number lines. So don't think it has to be made the way I'm making it. So as we continue here now, they want us to add 3 plus 2. So I start at 0. You always start at the origin. Now, a positive number would mean I'm going to move to the right on the number line, because numbers are to the right or positive of the origin. If it's a negative number, I would move left, because numbers to the left of 0 are negative. So I'm going to start at 0. I'll change the color here. And I'm going to move right 3 units. 1, 2, 3. And I stop there. Now that's what we mean by a directed arrow. So this arrow represents a +3 move. Now from there, I'm going to draw a line up. And I'm going to make a move of a +2. Now if it was a -2, I'd move left. But since it's a +2, I'm going to move right 2 units. So I'll move right to the 4 and then to the 5, and I stop there. And I have a second directed arrow. Now where I'm stopped here is my answer, which is obvious that 3 plus 2 is 5. But we're just getting used to the number line and directed arrows. Now let's take a look at example 2. Here they want us to take a -3. I would write it like this, a -3 plus 2. But sometimes you see examples written different ways. So I'm going to start with 0 in the middle. And that's usually the case, to start with the origin in the middle. And then I'll put some numbers in. And then we'll use the number line to add a -3 plus 2. So I start at the origin. Now, a -3, which means left. 1, 2, 3. Label it. And then I'm going to draw a line up. Now I'm going to make a move of a +2. Since it's a positive, since it's +2. And see, here really is a benefit of this. I know this is positive because there's not a negative sign in front of it. And that's why what they're really attempting to do is that, all right, yeah, that 2 is positive. In the parentheses, it's a +2. So let me just kind of back up here a little bit. So if I wrote it as a -3 plus 2, I know that this 2 is positive because there's not a sign here, which means that, yeah, it's a +2. Now if I had a -3 plus a -2, well, that's a -2. I'm going a little bit beyond what we need to here, but anyway, we're going to move to the right 2 units, 1, 2. And what do I end up above? A -1. So my answer is a -1. Example 3. You've got more than 2 numbers. So I'm going to number my number line. Now you got to kind of think where you're going to end up. Let's see, I'm going to move left 5, back 2, left 3, and then right 3. So in this one, it seems like we're working a little bit more on the negative side. So I'm going to put 0 a little bit more to the right. And sometimes you might have to adjust it a little bit, you know, the number line, but we'll see. We'll see if this will work. I just want to make sure I have plenty of numbers. All right, so start at the origin. I'm going to move left 5 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to draw a line up, and I'm going to move right 2 since it's a positive 2. So I'll go to the negative 4, then the negative 3. Draw a line up. Now I'm going to move back 3. So I'm going to go from the negative 3, I'm above the negative 3 right here, to the negative 4, to the negative 5, to the negative 6. So I'm going to go all the way over to the negative 6. Now I'm above the negative 6, and I'm going to move back 3. So I'm going to have the negative 6, 1, 2, 3. So I'll end up above a negative 3. So my answer is a negative 3. And I'm just looking at it to make sure that that we've done that correctly. And it looks like negative 8 plus 5, it looks like we're good. Okay, so what we've done in lesson 5 is we've used a number line and directed arrows to add what we call signed numbers.